Hi, how's it going? My name is Reece and I'm back today with another free training video. Today we're going to be going over how to book an extra 20-30 meetings a month for your agency using organic marketing. Now, if you're not already doing organic marketing, or if you are but you're not booking in any calls, in this free training I'm going to be going over and actually just giving you the entire strategy that we use so you can make your organic marketing more effective and you can be booking in more calls. And really what I want to do is just start this video. I'm just going to jump straight into the value. I just want to touch on an introduction first. Just stop relying on emails, right? Because emails are great and we use them myself. It's a massive part of the process that we do. It's a massive part of the system that I teach. It's a massive part of the system that we use in my own multi-six-figure agency. It's also a massive part of the systems that I teach my own mentorship students who are getting similar results. And I really want to just urge this point before we start this off, that you need to stop relying on emails, because emails are great, but using emails alone, you just look like every other agency owner out there who bought somebody's course yesterday, copy and pasted their template, and kind of just got started within the past couple of days. And the issue with that is, of course, you're going to come across really insincere, not genuine, and just the fact that you're going to be like every other agency out there who makes all of these false promises that they can provide results and never actually end up succeeding. So the number one thing that you want to avoid is looking like every agency out there, and this is one of the reasons that you need to stop relying on emails. Now, you should be sending emails every day, but your attention is actually best spent on building relationships with prospects. And what we got to do here is just think about the goal when it comes to outreach. The goal with the outreach is very simply to book meetings. The idea is booking more meetings, you're going to get more clients, and you're going to scale the agency, of course. But really, whether you achieve the booking of the meetings via email, social, or cold calling, whatever it may be, is entirely irrelevant. The goal is to book meetings. Now, as said, our strategy pretty much looks like this. I spend about 2 hours a week actually just working on the emails. I upload the emails at the very beginning of the week. I've got a lead sourcer that sources the emails. I get the first lines written, or again, not by myself, that's delegated. And then we go ahead, the only thing I actually do is verify the brands, make sure I'm happy to reach out to these particular brands, and then upload it to the LEM list. It automatically sends throughout the week. In the meantime, I go ahead, I do the rest of the organic marketing strategy, again, which I'm going to be showing you here in this free training. But really, when it comes to social media, we're able to build relationships really, really quickly. And the analogy that I want to give you here is it's just like going to a nightclub versus relying on Tinder when it comes to your dating life. Now, when it comes to a nightclub, we all know there's going to be a mass number of people there that probably have similar intentions. If they're going out to a nightclub, they're either looking for a similar type of relationship that you're interested in, or maybe they're just there to have fun. But either way, there's a given that they're there to be social. And it's the same thing when it comes to social media. If somebody's using social media to grow their business, to learn more things, and to kind of, as I said, grow their business or to learn more things, if they're already doing that, then they're already really warmed up, and you already know that those are the people that are pretty much putting their hand up saying, I need help, and then it's your job to swing by and say, hey, I'm here to help you out with whatever it is. So I just want to get that in your mind, this introduction, before I get started. Without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and actually get started on the strategy. Now, the first component as part of the strategy is traffic. Now, that's pretty obvious, but this is where most people go wrong. And the reason being, we don't want to just attract just anybody to our content. We want to make sure that we're focusing only on the highest quality leads. So to actually reach the highest quality leads, what I would really urge you to do is just look in one of the things is just look in Facebook groups where your niche is already asking for help. And in terms of Facebook groups, really paid Facebook groups work best. Now, I know some coaches, especially on Facebook right now, they talk about buying audiences. That's pretty much what this is, buying access to an audience via being in a paid Facebook group. So oftentimes, let's just use the e-com example, because again, I own an e-com advertising agency. It's something I'm very familiar with, but the same principle works with pretty much every other niche out there. essentially what will happen is these people, the owners of these brands or companies, whatever it is, they'll go ahead, they'll go on Facebook, they'll have a look for these groups and they'll join them. But they're only joining those groups if they actually need help in whatever the topic's about. So you could go on Facebook and find a group, for example, one may be titled, I'm making this up, but one may be titled growing your online brand to 6 figures via paid advertising. And then you know that the people in that specific group want to achieve growing their business to 6 figures or 7 figures or whatever it may be. And in this case, they want to do that via paid advertising. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter the vehicle that you're going to use to get them to their goal. But with them coming out and saying, hey, I've got a problem I need some help with, and we just go and we actually add these people and we engage with them. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how to actually do that in a second. But really the most important thing is the traffic quality. And again, the way that you're going to get the biggest increase in quality here when it comes to your traffic is by using paid Facebook groups. Now this is from software, it's from courses, other coaches out there that may have tried to help somebody in the past but been unsuccessful in helping them grow. The idea is that we find these groups, and then we just, with that, if somebody still needs help, if they were unsuccessful with the first method that they use, for example, the first coach or whatever it may be, the first program, maybe they just had a course, and that was unsuccessful, then they're still going to be looking for support, which is why they're in these groups. So essentially what we're going to be doing is really focusing on, again, people that are already warmed up, looking for their support, looking for their help. And another type of person that we would be looking for is really just anybody online that actually speaks about their business, anybody that's in these groups where they're networking with other people, because ultimately they're actually looking for some help already. Now, the final thing that I will mention when it comes to the traffic is make sure that you have a really well built out profile, because if you have a massive banner that says your offer, whatever that is. And by the way, for me, when it comes to my agency work with my students, my mentorship students, the offer is pretty simple. I'll help you book 30 to 40 appointments every single month and help you scale your agency past 6 figures. And that's pretty much guaranteed. I work with you until we achieve that. So when somebody looks at my Facebook page or they look at my YouTube or whatever that is, I'm speaking pretty candidly here, I know that you're looking for some type of help. Now, the next step is kind of drawing you in with the content and seeing if I'm the type of person that you would like to work with. And then if so, we usually end up getting on a call, and then we can go ahead actually introduce you to the offer where, again, we guarantee growing your agency to 6 figures. Now, the way that I use that analogy just to bring this concept over to you and say, when somebody accepts your friend request on Facebook or your connection request on LinkedIn, they're already a little bit interested because they know exactly what you do based on your profile, and they're actually accepting you to be within their network. By doing so, we know that they are part of our target audience. They are in some way or another actually interested, and in some way or another they need our help. It's our job there to go ahead, provide value, help them out, and then go ahead, actually book them on a call and potentially help them out in a paid format. So the next thing that I want to speak about as part of this strategy is content. And content is something that a lot of people overlook. And to be honest, when I first started, essentially what happened is I went for a course. I started my initial agency back in 2017, so I've been in the game for a while. And essentially what happened is I started uploading content from the beginning, and I was in a course, and the person that owned the course just said I was wasting my time and that I shouldn't be doing content. So to be honest, I stopped, and I really struggled booking meetings for years because I stopped. And what happened when I started uploading content is I was able to establish myself as an authority, an expert figure within my niche. And with that, I was able to book calls directly from social media, and also people that I had emailed. I would connect with them on social media. They would see the content. They would see that myself, my agency are genuine. We know what we're talking about. And then they would go ahead and we would actually book onto a call. So the idea when it comes to content is I want you to completely forget about just booking calls for the moment, because the goal with content is not about booking calls. The goal with the content is to establish yourself as an authority or expert figure in your niche. We must communicate the offer. in the content, we must communicate our offer, what we're offering, just for people that, sidetracking slightly, but when it comes to your offer, remember that an offer is the transformation that you are offering. Your offer itself is not, we run Facebook ads for ecom. Your offer would be, we help online fashion brands scale to 7 figures a month within 12 months. That there is an offer. That's the transformation that you're offering somebody. And what we want to do in our content is just communicate what the offer is and why you are the only viable solution to their biggest problem. When it comes to running an agency and defining our offer, generally we want to look at the niche and we want to pick the biggest problem that they have, and we want to provide a solution to that in the form of our offer, again, to help them achieve the desired transformation, whatever that may be. So what we do in our content, just for the last time, is actually just communicate to that to them, show them why we know what we're talking about, show them why we are the only viable solution for them to work with, and why they should be working with us as a partner to help them grow. Now, in terms of your uploading schedule for content, upload a minimum of 5 times a week, Monday through Friday, and sometimes maybe extend that even to Saturday. On Saturday, do a more casual post, potentially even something about the weekend or something like that. And the idea here, again, with the content is just to push the fact that you're an expert and authority figure, but you also want to show some personality, show people that you're genuine, show that you genuinely want to care about them. And to be honest, if you've got this far through this video already, I can tell that you are as passionate as I am about building a real successful agency and actually helping the people that you work with. So if you start doing content, you're going to go straight to the top of people's list, and you're really going to kill a lot of your competition, because when you're uploading content, which is something that a lot of people can't be bothered to do, you're the one that stands out as the agency that genuinely wants to help people, and you're the one that stands out with an offer that will genuinely be successful people doing it. The last thing that I'll communicate here with the content, and by the way, this is something I speak extensively about on my Facebook, so if we're not connected there already, make sure you go ahead and connect with my Facebook. I will leave the link for that down below the video if you're watching this on YouTube, that is. And essentially, when it comes to content, the last thing that I want to kind of make you consider is that one of the reasons that people would buy into a particular agency is it comes down to a matter of perceived likelihood of success. Now, in our content, if we're showing that we know what we're talking about, if we're showing client results where people have been successful with us in the past, it's pretty much a no-brainer. People will know that if they work with us, they're going to be successful. That is the final reason, probably actually in my opinion the most important reason for doing content, is to show people and increase the perceived likelihood of success by showing people that we've successfully done it before, or if you're a newer agency, at least that you know what you're talking about. At least you have somebody on your team who has got the results before, or at the bare minimum, you just know the system, you know what you're talking about, and we communicate that in form of our content. Now, when we're uploading our content, again, the goal here is not to book calls. Where we actually book the calls comes to the relationship building, and that is the last and final point of this system. Now, when it comes to relationship building, what I really mean here, just in layman terms, is just having conversations with people. So really, when it comes to here, I'm going to be honest, we're not focused on booking calls here either, and we're just focused on building relationships. Now, what happens when you actually build relationships and you actually show genuine interest in people and in their business and, presenting the offer to them? Well, that's when calls start coming in at a pace that you are unable to control, because it's like opening up the floodgates when you just start building relationships with people. So keep this relationship building super, super casual. Just have genuine conversations with people and try not to use scripts. Now and again, you may come up with scripts to actually reach out to people, and there may be certain canned responses for certain questions that people ask, and that's completely fine. But for the most part, don't follow a script when it comes to actually engaging with people on Messenger on Facebook or your messages on LinkedIn or whatever that may be. Just keep on having a genuine conversation with people. Now, relate the content of the messages to business, but just keep it genuine. Keep it focused on building the relationships. And what I mean here when I say relate it to business is don't be one of those people that immediately off the bat, like let's say you're targeting dental clinics, don't immediately off the bat just say, hey, we help dental clinics book in an extra 20 appointments a month. Are you interested in have a conversation? Don't say that, because that's not genuine. go ahead and ask them serious questions. Firstly, if somebody's a dentist, it means that they studied in school for at least 4 to 6 years. Go ahead, use that information and say, hey, notice that you've owned this dental clinic for a while. I'm interested. What inspired you to get started in that business? Or what made you decide to actually start your own business? Or what inspired you to go into dentistry in the first place? Get that questions in the beginning and get that personal side, but it's still related to business. So it's very, very personal, but it's very, very business at the same time, because it's personal, but you're not talking about the football. You're not talking about music or movies or whatever it may be. You're talking straight about the business. From there, you can guide it, find out where they currently are, and find out what they're struggling with. This point, if you can help them, you can then go ahead and offer to book in a call. And essentially what that would look like is they will tell you, oh, we're struggling with client acquisition right now. Let's just say that's what you do. You help somebody with client acquisition. And they say, hey, I'm struggling with client acquisition. Well, at that point, you're more than welcome to go ahead and say to them, look, I've got some points that may be able to help you out. Are you free to get on a call and we can discuss that a little bit further? Or a little bit more direct, and this is actually the approach that I prefer. Just go ahead and say to them, hey, I feel like I may be able to actually help you nail this part of your client acquisition. Would you be happy to get on a call and we discuss how I can maybe help you achieve that? Something along those lines. And the last thing that I want to just kind of have you keep in mind here is, if they aren't looking for what you're offering, just keep the relationship there on standby, and just keep following up every few months until they are ready to scale, or again, whatever your particular offer helps them with. It may not be to scale, it may be to free up time in their business, it may be to build a customer service team, it could be a bunch of different things. But obviously the most common thing with agencies these days is client acquisition. It's not the only thing niches need, and businesses in general need, but it is probably the most common thing that people are doing these days. So that pretty much wraps up this training. I just want to really push this point again over, like just recapping the strategy. Make sure you get high quality traffic. On a final note of this high quality traffic, we want to be adding people that are from countries that are likely able to actually provide what we, pay for our services. So what I mean here is just kind of target countries that are, like, if you speak English, providing you do, you're watching this video, so I'm sure you do. Essentially what we want to do is target people in English-speaking countries that have a higher GDP, places that are more able to actually probably be able to afford your services. For example, if we're targeting English-speaking brands or English-speaking companies, we want to focus on really the top 5, which is the UK, the US, Canada, the UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Focus on those top 5 businesses when it comes to your outreach. Try not to be adding people that are away from that, especially in countries that you may find to be a lower GDP, places that just don't have a high chance of actually being able to afford your services. And also when it comes to qualification, again, if you're working with e-com or dental practices or whatever, don't be working with people that are brand new. Don't be working with people that probably can't afford your services in the first place. Don't work with dental clinics if you do dentists that only have one dental person that does everything, and is basically a contractor, because at that point they're not going to be able to afford your service. So just make sure that you're being really smart about who you're targeting. If you've had your agency around for a while, then you should be able to kind of notice patterns in your current clients or the people that you've spoken with on calls, and then you're able to actually change the traffic based on what works within your niche. Content, upload 5 to 6 days a week. Focus on value-based content. Get that out as much as you can. And again, when it comes to relationship building, keep it fully genuine. Just build relationships, build friendships with people. You can't fire your friends, but you definitely can work with them and help them grow. Just focus on talking to people, making them feel like you've individually picked them out, which is another reason that you don't rely on emails. And what's going to happen again is you're going to book a ton of meetings. Now, this pretty much wraps up this free training. If you do have any follow-up questions, let me know down below, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. Just comment down below, and I will respond to that and help you out. Now, if you are watching on YouTube, go ahead, click the link down below to connect with me on Facebook. Not only can we actually have a chat and I can answer your personal questions, and by the way, that's me. I don't have anybody on my messenger speaking. It's just me, so I may take a while to get back to you. But either way, I'd love to have a conversation with you and answer any questions that you may have about this strategy. If you are looking for help growing your agency, click the link down below this video. Again, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, I'll have the link down below for the demo video of the program. This speaks about what I help you with in the program. It speaks about our guarantees, the way that we're going to work together, the support structure, and pretty much everything that you need to know. If you're looking for help growing the agency, also comment down below this video scale if you're watching on Facebook, or send me a message. I'll reach out to you and see if you would be in a position that I maybe actually help you get to the next level in your agency. Now, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Again, if you have any questions, any feedback, any comments, let me know down below, and I'll see you again in the next free training.